Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your evening to learn a little bit more about orientation and move-in and all of the fun programs and things that are coming your way. My name is Dr. Ali Skidma, and I'm the Director of Strategic Initiatives and Student Transitions and Engagement. And in my role at WashU, I oversee your students' first year experience throughout their first week on campus. And so I'm excited to talk to you a little bit about the programs and events that are coming your way for not just your student, but also for you all as a part of parent and family orientation. And I will let my colleague introduce himself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Equan Rhodes, Assistant Director for Residential Life. And so my role here at the university, among other things, is to plan out the move-in process for all of our students. So I'm excited to talk to you all about that process.
So just as a note, we want to make sure you know how to submit questions during the webinar. You'll notice that we've given you the ability to ask via a Q&A feature, which you can find at the bottom of your screen. Second, we'll be showing a PowerPoint during tonight's webinar, and the chat feature will be sharing some links and email addresses throughout the duration of the webinar, but you can find almost any answer to any question that you may have on our website, which we'll share at the last slide as well. Finally, this webinar is being recorded live, and next week will be posted on the Families site, Parent and Family Engagement through Student Transitions and Engagement. You can find all of the webinars from this summer on our office's page, and we can share that link as well. So let's get started with Equan. Equan, take it away. Talk us about through move-in. What are we excited about? What are we expecting?
All right. So a couple things you need to know about move-in. One, the dates. It's going to be between August 13th and August 15th. But as you prepare for your arrival, there are a couple things that you all, as parents, should make sure that your students have gotten done. Number one, please confirm that they have submitted a student ID photo and their immunization records. There is a process for students to complete that. If we don't have those things in place, then it becomes very difficult for us to get everyone checked in and through our check-in process. Second thing would be is to review their check-in time in the housing portal. So this year we had all of our students submit which day that they preferred to move in on. Our office did as best as we could to accommodate everyone's request for their move-in time slots. But please make sure that you follow up with your student to figure out what that time slot is. And then also make sure your student has registered you as a guest for move-in. If you have been registered as a guest, you would have gotten an email from our office indicating that we confirmed you as an attendee for move-in. The reason we're doing this, it just gives us a better idea of how many people to expect so that we can provide the best experience for all of our guests. Then review our residential life policies and procedures. This is available. You can find it on our website under policy and procedures, but also you can just type that into your preferred search engine. It is important that you all look at that information very closely and very acutely because we do not want people bringing items to campus that they do not need. So please make sure that you are reviewing that as well. And then also make sure you finish packing. So there's a move-in guide on our website. You can also access it at newstudents.washu.edu. And make sure that you are, when you're packing, all of your boxes and items are labeled with your first and last name, your building, and room number. That way, when you all arrive, things are unloaded on the curb. We can make sure that it all gets to the right location. We will have bins available here to put all of the things in a bin, but much like flying or landing at the airport, you want to make sure your items are tagged in some form or fashion. So next, we'll talk about the check-in process. And so what will happen is this is referenced in our move-in guide. But you will arrive at lot 35 or Simon Hall lot for check-in. Um, please do not arrive too early. I know there are a lot of parents that believe that if we have a 10:30 a.m. check-in time slot and we arrive at 9 a.m., that's fine. It is not. Our parking lot is somewhat limited, so we have this set up to make it as streamlined as possible. And if we have too many people sitting out there waiting, it can kind of bog things down a bit. So make sure that you arrive on time. Make sure that your students have a government ID with a photo on it. We will need that in order to confirm their identity when they arrive in our Danforth University Center. One of the big pieces that we encourage parents and families to respect is that the students will enter the check-in location and check themselves in. At this point, you all have done a lot to get them here. We are now at a place where we're trying to get them to understand that a big part of this involves a lot of them having some self-agency. So it's going to be a difficult part for some of you, I know. But when you all get to the check-in location, make sure that it's your student coming in to the check-in location and that you're remaining out in the car in the parking lot. I promise they will come back out. When they come back out, they will have received their WashU ID card, their Metro U Pass, their room key or instructions to access their room key via mobile credential, a parking placard, and their one-time moving assistance ticket. Those are important items that students will need. They'll have some other items as well from some of our other campus partners, but those are the main things that they will need in order to check into their rooms. So once a student is checked in, we'll actually get to the move-in process. And so with that, students will return to the vehicle out in the parking lot. Then they'll come over to the South 40 where our office is located at and all our first year students are housed. And there we will help you get unloaded at your residential building. We will have professional movers here to provide assistance with unloading items, but the main thing to note is that the driver of the vehicle should remain with the vehicle while the vehicle is unloaded. Once the vehicle is unloaded, drivers will need to take their vehicles over to our long-term parking lot. And from there, we'll have a shuttle to bring you back from long-term parking over to the check-in location so that you all can come over and finish helping your students get settled. Uh, we, I won't say we have this down to a complete science, but we're pretty good at getting students from check-in to move-in. It's roughly about a 30 to 45-minute process altogether. So if everything goes well, then we'll be able to keep that process streamlined for folks. So once everyone is moved in, we'll talk about what it's like to get settled into your room. So some things to note about what's in your room. Every room is going to come with an adjustable extra large twin size bed and mattress. All of our spaces are carpeted. Every room is going to come with a desk with a chair. Most of our desks have hutches on them. All of our rooms are going to have a set of mini blinds. There will always be either a closet or wardrobe, a dresser, trash and recycling cans, and then all of our spaces are equipped with central air, heating, gas, electricity, and water. There is also wireless internet in all of our spaces too. If you'll go to our website, you'll learn some more about our room dimensions, floor plans, our cleaning schedules for our housekeepers, and our room types. Things to note about the floor dimensions or room plans and floor dimensions. Only students can access that information. So that information is protected by their WashU key. And so if you want to view that information, you'll need to do so with your students. Please also realize that we have a lot of different room types, so we're not able to get full measurements of every specific room space. So the documentation and images that you see are reflective of kind of an average of our rooms. So um, we do take calls and questions and try to answer them as best as we can in our office with regard to certain things. But I will tell you right now, I don't know the amount of space between the front door and the wall with the window on it. So I would ask that you kind of hold on to those types of questions for us. Okay. And then some additional details for everyone. I am asking on behalf of everyone within the Office of Residential Life and the Division of Student Success that we try to refrain from bringing U-Hauls or box trailers as much as possible. But if they do come, we do have some information that we'll share with you all once you get the parking placard of where those items can go. But we are hopeful that no one brings a U-Haul to campus because we have a lot of students moving in and we don't want too many U-Hauls on our campus. As far as shopping for move-in, our university is fairly centrally located with regard to a number of what we call our big box retailers. So there's a Target not far from our campus, there's a Walmart not far from our campus, and we recently just opened up a Costco not too far from campus. So there is availability for you all to go and do some shopping once you all get settled in and moved in. As far as mailroom, students are able to ship items to campus ahead of move-in day. Our mailroom is currently receiving some of those packages now. The thing to know is in order to access the mailroom on move-in day, You're not going to be able to drive your car to the mail room, pick your items up, and then bring them back to your room to drop the items off. You're going to have to actually unload your vehicle over at your room, and then you can walk over to the mail room. They will have carts available to help you get your items over to your student room. I had mentioned our long-term parking. That's going to be in two locations. That's going to be in our Danforth University Center parking garage and our East End parking garage. We are providing a shuttle service from the East End garage back over towards the Simon lot. And then I'm going to jump to this last bullet first, our physical key request. If a student believes they need a physical key, and so that's going to be like an actual brass key to get in and out of the room, they will fill out and submit that request on the housing portal. Most of our students probably won't need that, but in the event that they do, that request is available to them in the housing portal. Lastly, our move-in guide. That is online on our website, and it's also accessible via the New Students webpage. If you have any questions or anything, most of those are going to be answered within the move-in guide. So we hope that you all will take a look at that. And if you see something that's not answered there, just send our office an email or give us a call, and we'll do our best to provide you an answer with that. So we'll shift gears now to talk about two specific populations of students that'll be moving in with us over the next couple weeks. Our first group will be our international students. For the most part, they're going to arrive on August 13th if they've signed up with the Office of OISE to participate in international student orientation. Check-in will take place in the DUC just the same as it will for our domestic students that are arriving on the 14th and 15th. Just one of the big differences is that we know that some of our students will be flying in from our airport to our campus, and they'll be provided a shuttle service from the airport to our campus. And then our last group I want to just touch base on will be our transfer and exchange students. That check-in will take place actually on August 18th. That check-in will be from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. There's more information for that population of students in our move-in guide as well. And so as a very brisk overview of move-in, I'm certain there'll be some questions that we all have. But I will remain here at the end of the webinar to answer any of your questions. But I will turn it back over to Dr. Skipma so she can talk about our orientation and parent and family engagement program.
Thank you so much, Equan. There are two questions in the chat that maybe you can answer now before we move on to the next. Sorry, I know you were. First is, do I need to register my rental car for move-in?
No. So the way vehicles are going to be handled, we're asking people to only bring one vehicle with them just due to traffic concerns and space limitations. But whatever vehicle is going to have all of the items in it, we will provide a parking placard to that student. They will need to fill that parking placard out. That parking placard will remain on the dashboard of that vehicle while the vehicle is unloaded, and also over at long-term parking, because our parking and transportation team very vigilant on parking enforcement. So we want to make sure that that rental car is not ticketed.
Great. Two more questions, similar thread, is toilet paper provided in the bathrooms?
We do provide toilet paper in our first-year residence halls, yes.
Great, thank you. And are beds raised so you can put the dresser underneath the bed?
Beds are raised. Our plan this year is to actually have all of our beds raised to their highest level, and then allow students to submit furniture requests to have the beds lowered if they need to. The bed at the highest level can sustain pieces of furniture, or there's about 36 inches of clearance underneath the bed at its highest level.
Okay, great. And do students do that? Do students and parents do that on their own?
We are asking, I can't demand, but we are asking that no students or parents attempt to raise or lower a bed on their own. Submit a furniture request, and our facilities team will get to those.
Okay.
Mhm.
Great, thank you so much. We will continue answering questions about move-in the chat.
Yes,
Iquan, if you want to monitor the Q&A and help
I will.
lovely admin out, that would be wonderful. For now,
Yep.
we're going to move into orientation and parent and family engagement programming for the week. So a little bit about our office. Student Transitions and Engagement oversees the orientation experience for both first-year students, transfer, exchange, international students, as well as graduate and professional students. Each student, first-year student, is assigned a peer mentor called a WUSA, a WashU Student Ambassador, that will help orient them to campus, stay with them through their first 3 quarters of the year, and sort of be there as a mentor and a guide as they navigate all of the different resources that WashU has to offer. Um, like I mentioned, our office oversees the parent and family programs as well. So in my time today, I'm going to talk a little bit about the parent and family orientation, how that lines up with your student schedule, but you can feel free to email the families inbox at families@wuso.edu should you need anything. So let's talk a little bit about what's coming our way next weekend. Move-in weekend, like Equan had shared, is very exciting. There's a lot of logistics for your students, but we also have some programs for you to attend, parents and families. There was an opportunity to register already for these that your student should have told you about. Should they have forgotten, that's okay. There's still plenty of room. The one caveat I want to note is please email our office, families@wuso.edu, just to let me know that you're coming so we can budget for as much food as possible per person. But also for any event that you go to over the weekend, you will need a name tag that has the WashU brand on it, just so that we can help understand who's a guest, who's a student, and who belongs where. If you have not registered yet but want to, it's okay. You can pick up a name tag on your student's move-in day. You'll just come to my office and we will get you all set up with that. Our office is located across from the Bears Den on the South 40, which is the main dining area. We'll have music, balloons, you can't miss us. But just please make a note that if you haven't been able to register for any of these events, that's totally fine. You'll just need to come get a name tag from us. So let's talk a little bit about the events that are available to you. Saturday evening at 7:30, there's a family welcome reception that is a toast with the Chancellor and Dr. G. Chancellor Martin will be there, and Dr. G is our Vice Chancellor for Student Success here at WashU, and she is very in touch with the students and very excited to meet you, so we hope that you're available during that time. I want to make a special note that first-year students are not welcome at that event. They have other programming that they should be attending, so just you and your family should be present while your student is doing the other things that we have planned for them. On the August 15th evening, both Friday, if you move in Friday, your student will have to go to a floor meeting at 8 p.m. that day. If your student moves in Saturday, they'll have to go to a floor meeting at 8 p.m. that day. So they'll need to pick one of those two based off of which day they're moving into. Those floor meetings are relatively quick and just goes over some essential information that your student needs to know from our residential education team. But then after that, there's a bubble foam party for them outside of their residential facilities on what we call the swamp. So there's plenty of things for them to do, snacks, food, foam. So we're excited, and we hope that you encourage your student to go ahead and navigate to that while you come join me at the family welcome reception. Um, over the weekend, starting Sunday, you and your student will have different programming, but they will come together toward the end of the day. So I want to walk you through what that will look like. On Sunday, August 16th, goodness, students will start at 10 a.m. and have a residential community meeting, and then they'll move into another meeting with their WUSA, like I mentioned, the WashU Student Ambassador, that has a lot of information about the week ahead for them, but also really is an opportunity for them to connect with peers on their floor and make new friends. So it's really important that students are present at both of those mandatory meetings in the morning. Then at noon, you'll break for lunch on your own and a resource fair. We've compiled 55 different offices from across campus, and we're bringing them all to the athletic complex so you can walk around and learn more with your student about what resources exist for them, get to know people in real life. The mascot will be there. Dr. G will be floating around. So make sure that you at least spend at least 30 minutes there just walking around and seeing the different resources we have to offer. And then students will be encouraged at least between 3 and 4, but by 4 o'clock at the latest to say farewell to their family. They'll see them over parent and family weekend, which is Halloween weekend. And then they start all of their mandatory programming for the week. So families, what does that look like for you? Starting at 9 a.m. on Sunday, just an hour before your students, you'll have the opportunity to attend a session called Parents and as Partners, and that is a session that talks a little bit with the Chancellor and Dr. G. And our Associate Vice Chancellors for the Division of Student Success about how you can be a successful partner in your students' experience. We talk a lot about resources, the different ways that you can engage with those resources, but really encourage your student to engage with them. And so that's a really informative session that we hope you take some time to attend. Right after that, you'll be able to attend a meeting with the dean of your student's academic division. And so we'll split out into the various respective schools so you can learn more about their academics, what they'll be learning, and get a chance to talk to real life faculty and the academic deans, which is really exciting, knowing how excited they are to talk to you. They always look forward to that event quite a bit. Then after that, built into your schedule is similar to your student, the resource fair, lunch on your own. For those of you who are student athletes or scholar champions, as we like to say, there's a family reception for you, which more information will be sent out through athletics. But then by 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, I really got to encourage you to say farewell, wish them all the best because by 4 o'clock they have to be in some required programming. So I just really want to make note, Sunday at 4 p.m. is your time to let your student engage with orientation. Let's talk about the week. What will they get to experience? We'll talk. So orientation runs Monday, August 17th through Saturday, August 22nd. We give them a break on Sunday, August 23rd, so they can kind of get ready for classes and get everything that they need to do in order. They'll have some key experiences. They'll go through some academic experiences. They talk a lot about university values and community expectations, what it means to be a WashU student in St. Louis. There's community socials, plenty of opportunity for them to meet other people, but also have some fun. They go then into a session for In the Lou, which talks with a couple of different key campus partners, but also some special VIP guests about what it means to be in St. Louis, the history of St. Louis, and how they can engage with the community. They'll have an opportunity to participate in some excursions off campus, like a food tour with the Chancellor to Cherokee Street. They'll have a lot of different opportunities to engage with the neighborhoods of St. Louis, which is really important to us. So make sure your student stays tuned and goes to those mandatory meetings with their WUSAs because that's where they will learn more. Finally, we end the week with convocation on Saturday evening, which there is a live stream available for should you like to watch it. And that's posted on our website as well, but will be in the Family Ties that you receive, which is a newsletter you can sign up for again on our website, or you can email families@wusa.edu and I can send you the link on how to sign up. But just know that those are some of the key experiences that your student is going to receive. For transfer and exchange students, we also have an orientation. They have a very similar setup, just a little bit truncated due to their arrival dates, but they will also go through some academic experiences, meet with some faculty and some deans from their respective academic schools. They'll talk about university values and what it means to be a transfer and exchange student on WashU's campus, and how they can get plugged into specific resources that may be helpful for them. They'll engage in community social so they can make friends and have some peers and get connected that way. And they will also be able to participate in the Lou and Healthy Excellence programming that we have available for them. Topics we cover generally, when I talk about academics, I mean academic life and success and redefining what success looks like. We know your students are all very smart and very capable and very kind, and this is their first experience where they're maybe just having a little bit of dissonance with the course material that they're learning. They're getting B's instead of A's, and they're not used to that. And so we talk a little bit about what resources are available to them, and help them with that transition into a different sort of academic experience. We talk a lot about community living. If you went to a traditional four-year institution, you know that moving into a residence hall with a roommate can be a developmental experience on its own. So we talk a little bit about community living and how we can make sure that we are building those relationships for a really positive experience. We talk about safety and security, what resources exist, how to navigate St. Louis in a way that is safe for you. But also we encourage them to get onto the Loop, which is about a quarter of a mile from our main campus. And it has a ton of restaurants, ice cream shops, little stores and shops to visit. And so we have that built into orientation programming. So we teach them how to get there, and how to just be aware of their surroundings while they're exploring a new city. I talk a lot about health and well-being. How are you developing healthy habits in a new environment? How are you sleeping? Making sure that they know that that's just as important as any other facet of health and well-being. We talk about equity, diversity, inclusion, the different experiences and backgrounds that they bring. WashU in with and for St. Louis. You're not just a WashU student, you're a community member in St. Louis. And so we talk a lot about what it means to get out into the area, to serve the area, but also to be an active participant in your own experience here and how you can get engaged with the city. And then finally, we talk about spirit and traditions. Being a WashU student is amazing, so fun. And so we have the mascot around. We get really hyped before convocation, and we have a lot of programming around building some school spirit because that is what orientation is all about. Some conversations I suggest that you have before move-in. Talk a little bit about expectations for college. What are they hoping to get out of their experience here? What resources do they want? How do we make sure that you are aware at least of what WashU has to offer so that when you're on campus for orientation, you can meet those folks at the resource fair or they can ask their WUSA about that. Planning for communication, this is a big one. How often will you communicate? What's your expectation versus their expectation? Who reaches out first? Are you going to call, text, FaceTime, Zoom? All of those things are important to note because your student needs a little bit of guidance from you on that, especially if you're hoping that they're calling you every day, which may be the reality, but let's just put it out there and make sure we're all on the same page. Preparing for independent living, cooking your own meals at school is very different than having mom or dad cook for you at home. And so talking a little bit with them about how they can engage with our dining hall and the resources that are available to them, planning healthy meals, healthy eating, healthy habits, and making sure that they know how to do their laundry. Chancellor Martin has a really funny uh, pink sock lecture that he'll talk to you about at Parents as Partners. So I hope that you're able to attend that and learn a little bit more about that story. But then we also want to know about expectations around sharing information and academic progress. You can be added as a user in their student workday portal, which I know we've sent out a lot of communication over the summer about. But just talk with your student about what the expectations are for sharing information, because that's often the most conversations I have with first year students are the dissonance between what they expect and what their parents and families expect. Finally, I want to talk a little bit about some action items that your student needs to complete before they move in and attend orientation. They can find all of this newstudents.wuso.edu. Like Equan said, they need to update their immunization and health history forms. They need to submit a student ID photo. They need to sign a waiver to participate in the LU experiences, which they can find the links to all of these on our website. They need to complete all the required modules, which are listed under our checklists on our website. And if you can't find those, feel free to email families@wuso.edu and I can make sure that you get those checklists. Pack. And then finally, really enjoy your time together. I know that the summer is really about preparing to launch them into the next step of their fate of their professional career, but also like their personal life. And so please make sure that you're enjoying some time together before we get to enjoy the time with your student. I'm going to end with a slide if you want to take a photo of our contact information so that we can get that to you. Feel free to email any of those accounts, give us a call. I know that there's a lot of information in this webinar, which again will be posted next week on our site. Should you be interested in watching again or miss some information, here's our contact and how you can get a hold of us. We're going to spend the next couple of minutes just talking through the different questions in the Q&A. So I'm going to stop sharing now and see if there's any additional information that's coming in that may be good for the group. Okay, great. I think most of these are specific to your student. So we're going to stay on, keep the webinar active, and we'll be answering some questions for the next 10 or so minutes. So feel free to use the Q&A feature. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.